M.Reck TV. Peace. Y'all know the M.Reck room etiquette. Pound that like button. This is Heavy Gems. Salute to the Rec Mob. Salute to SJ. Let's get the likes up soon as you come in the room, so the recommendations can go out to all the people that's not here. I got my brother Talib in the building. He's gonna take the floor, and we're gonna put on a good show for y'all tonight. We got a lot of important topics. We're gonna bring a lot of awareness to different things that's going on. Also, pre-order the episode 2 is dropping any day, maybe tonight, maybe 2 days from now, but who knows? You know what I mean? You know how I do. You know, I'm waiting on the editor. You know what I mean? Esco, you know, he's doing what he do. He's up to some things. You know, he's adding some special features. So just know. So if it dropped today, if it dropped tomorrow, you already have it. And thanks for everybody getting the pre-order. I'm about to put the link on the screen as well. So Talib, how you, good brother?
Oh, peace, brother. I am magnanimously well.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Feel
sir.
supercharged.
It's amazing. I can hear it all in your voice. You know, SJ, I see you. Appreciate you. Salute to the Rec Mob. We in here. Let me get the this right here. Now, my brother, you got the floor.
Oh, great. Well, last time we did the silver, so I figured I'd go to the Sedona and we do like release. It won't take up too much time, but give everybody an opportunity to experience it. So we're gonna do the Sedona method. I'm gonna just do the a very basic form of it. And the reason I'd like to do this very basic form is so that you can also practice it. And if you find you enjoy it and it benefits you, then hopefully you can share it with people you love and maybe help those around you and give them something, or direct them to the Sedona website where they can actually take more of the course themselves. But let us begin. So in this moment, I would like everyone to just be what you are. And just be what you are. And in this moment, to just notice what is. And allow yourself to focus in an area in your life where you feel some resistance. And in this moment, could you just welcome it? Just let it be here as best you can. And could you check and see if there's any wanting to change it, to make it different, to push it away or pull it closer? And if so, could you just welcome it? And in this moment, just for now, the best you can, could you just let it go? Would you just let it go? When? And allow yourself to focus in again on that area where you feel resistance, or anything else that may come up in the moment. Any pictures, thoughts, sounds, images, memory, feelings. Could you just welcome that? Could you just let it be here as best you can? And could you check and see if there's any wanting to change that story, to make it different, to push it away or pull it closer? And could you welcome that? Let it be here as best you can. And as best you can, just for now, could you just let it go, let it dissolve, let it unravel? Would you let it go? When? And could you also welcome that light, the knowingness, the awareness that's always there right beneath the surface? Could you let that in and let it take its place? And focus in again on any area that may be bringing you resistance. Could you just welcome it? Let it be here as best you can. And just for now, could you let it go? Would you let it go? When? And could you welcome that abundance, the light, the awareness that's always there beneath the surface? And keep in mind, abundance isn't something you have to look for. It isn't something you have to visualize. It's always there. It's always around you. And if you would just be open to it showing itself to you, then that's where miracles lie. So could you just welcome that abundance, that light, that awareness, the knowing that's always beneath the surface, and just let it fill the place? Okay, and that's it.
Yes, sir.
The beauty of it, well, yeah, right. When I do it, it's not like I'm disconnected from what I'm doing. So, when you use it with other people, you'll find that you're actually working on yourself at the same time. And you'll notice that when you're doing this, you don't have to be necessarily directed or look at one specific thing in your life that may be bothering you. When you ask yourselves these questions, or you allow yourself to focus in on something like resistance and things of that nature, your mind already has all of that. It's going to bring it right in for you,
Yes, sir.
you know? So there's no need to keep retelling and rehashing your stories and explaining to everybody that'll listen why these things are happening to you. When you do it this way, this is an internal, personal experience. You know you better than anyone ever will. And when you work from within, your unconscious knows exactly what's bothering you. And you answer these questions from your heart. And you will find that these emotions, these feelings, they just sort of dissolve within you. And that leaves room for all the other things to open up for you.
Correct. Salute, Wreck Mob. I see a lot of people in the chat room saying they feel good. Shouts to the homie King. Said he feel good. Salute, King. Um,
Oh, shout to Maybach Mail.
Shouts to Maybach Mel in the building. Shouts to SJ, of course. Shouts to everybody. Pound that like button. We gonna get into it, man. There's a lot going on. We got some breaking news. I just came across this. New Jersey councilwoman Eunice found dead after multiple shots. After being shot multiple times. Wow, I'm about to pull that up and see uh, you know, get into that information. That's crazy. Of course, she's a woman of color. But let me see what's going on with that. Okay. me take this off the screen real quick. Yeah. Pound that like button, y'all. So it says here, New Jersey Councilwoman Eunice, I'm not going to get that last name, DWUM4, all right, was found dead after being shot multiple times in her car outside her home. Wow, that's personal. Outside her home, 4 times. She didn't even get inside to her residence. That sounds very personal. Let me see what else they saying. An active homicide investigation is underway after 30-year-old Eunice died in a shooting on Wednesday. So that was yesterday, but I guess they just now reporting it. Wow, 30 years old, so young. You know. Um,
Yeah,
our
that sounds
condolences.
real personal. That sounds like someone who knew her, who was very upset with her.
Yeah.
For what reason, I have no.
Somebody said right here in the chat room, I think the mafia killed her. I was just digging into this. Oh, word? So if you got some more information or some more links, send it my way because I just came across it. Yeah, that's a tragic situation. Salute to the homie produced by AdWords in the building. He got some fire beats. Check him out. Key to T, I see you. Key to T is probably one of the biggest M.Reck TV supporters. Much love. Oh yeah, we dropping that episode 2 any day. It could be tonight. It could be definitely this week. You know, Esco is just putting some special features on it. You know what I mean? So appreciate you, Keita T, always supporting the Spooky Hours episodes and everything. Just sending donations, all that. Keita T, I appreciate you. She wrecked them all for real, for real. Thank you. What else we got? We're gonna cover some more stuff. Talib, you wanna
Oh, did you look up Putin displays nuclear football during speech?
okay, hold on.
Because this isn't going away.
Hmm.
This isn't going away. Not no, not nah. This is definitely something they're adamantly pushing for.
Okay, let me see what came up. Yeah, I got it right here. Putin brings nuclear.
Do you understand what that? Oh,
That
well,
can launch missiles at any moment to war memorial. Wow, hold on. Let me bring this up on the screen. Wow, that's crazy. Pound that like button, y'all. Let's get the likes up.
and I know because we live in our country, we're being bombarded with a particular type of propaganda, you know, that is always going to make this individual seem way inferior, you know. There are definitely some plans. Like you understand what a nuclear football is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That don't leave the building, man.
Mm.
You know, that don't leave the building. And if it's out in the open, they're not just casually walking by and they happen to catch photos. This is a warning.
Mm-hmm.
That's a threat.
Correct.
That's a real threat. Okay. So, and then, you got to realize like there's a lot of this stuff heading in a certain direction. They're actually pushing forward with this, because on the flip side of that, you have China.
Mm-hmm.
And China, I guess you could say they're issuing out threats or whatever. At the end of the day, it's not some guy on YouTube talking crap. We're talking about a nation. you know. And these guys are saying now, like, you think it'll be a war, but it'll only be one shot fired at you.
Mm.
And that's what Xi Jinping just came out threatening America with. So everything's sort of setting up, you know, in this way that it seems like that, yeah, they're definitely going to push this narrative on us to sort of suck us in this particular direction,
Right.
you know, because by Germany getting involved, oh, they need to stay. What are you doing? And now you got um, us sending tanks over there, and now they want to send fighter jets over there, you know, and so there's a lot of situations occurring around that, and then they throw this into the mix. He's out here at a memorial war thing, having a speech and showing, you know, for World War II people and stuff, and just casually walking around with his guys holding nuclear football, which is the codes to launch the real nuclear weapons. And there's two types. There's the short range and the long range. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the short range stuff, that's, realize it or not, you know, when we was over there, we've been dropping nuclear bombs for a minute. But the ones they're talking about, that's that, you know, fat boy. The one they dropped on Nagasaki.
Mm.
You
Sure.
know, that's serious long. That's the, you know, and he's talking about you know, they're already putting ships lined up to fire. Well, I believe these are the short range ones, though. I mean, still cataclysmic damage in the air will become unbelievable. And now you have a lot of hospitals and scientists and so forth coming out telling people that they need to stock up. And now I'm going to tell you, just in case you never heard, stock up on iodine pills. Right? To stock up on iodine pills. That there's a shortage in pharmaceutical production. And then if anything hits a certain wall, that people, they're really concerned about people on antidepressants, people with schizophrenia, people who suffer from these different mental illnesses because they won't be able to get their medication. That they're urging people to stock up on medication. But you might not know this, so a lot of people might not do that and find themselves in a situation where they do what they did to us back then and do it again, because that's what they're aiming and pushing to do again. You know, a lot of people are going to end up in even a worse situation where, you know, someone you love or care about won't have their medication. But my thing is, if you do the Sedona, you do the Silva, if you learn these mental exercises, you can heal, you can help a lot of your mentally ill family. A lot of people have been misdiagnosed. A lot of people, their diagnosis was purely beneficial for profit. So a lot of these medications, they're not helping these people. They're just giving them a maintenance which allows them to be semi-functional. But a lot of these things, your body has the coding to rectify these things when you can use your mind to your own body's detriment. So I would just tell people, like, yeah, if you're not into that, then this might actually be the time to get iodine pills and things of that nature. Because it don't necessarily have to be them dropping a bomb directly on you. It just needs to be near you. They're called nuclear winds. Okay, I know this because I live in Nevada, and I will tell you, we still have nuclear winds. That's why they tell you in Nevada, do not go outside and be walking around and trying to act like it's just a heavy day of rain in a dust storm. Because it's still blowing nuclear materials that's was scattered all over the mountainsides, that's there for 25,000 years. Excuse me. I apologize. That's my dogs, and I needed to get them quiet. But, you know, it's the nuclear winds. You look at People keep talking about all the animals dying in the sea and how it's so bizarre and how birds is dying in the air. Have you forgotten that the plant over there in Hiroshima, the Fukushima plant that went up, that they actually had to sink to keep the core? You understand, when you're using plutonium, when plutonium goes bad, it just becomes unstable. So underneath every major city that's used this nuclear power and plutonium, there are DUMBs, deep underground military bases and facilities in which they store and have to keep these things at zero temperature because they're going to explode. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to, they will explode, right? So what happens? You drop this plant underwater to try to base cool it and keep the whole thing from going up into a giant nuclear explosion. So where did all of the nuclear waste start seeping through? It seeped into the water. All the nuclear winds from the stuff blowing, it's been blowing across America. You ever notice that since that occurred, you had all these diseases that went up, cancer went up? But they're telling you about that. That wind that went all around the world. You could look this up. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is scientific fact. You have a whole bunch of scientific researchers that's been studying the effects of Fukushima. And remember, they make you think everything's so far away from you. Let me remind you of this, everyone. You can walk to Russia on the right conditions at the right time of year from Alaska. If you had a boat, you could just get in a boat yourself and literally just paddle over to Alaska or over to Russia, because they're not even that far separate. But when you look at the earth from just the East Coast and go around, you start thinking these things are far away from you. They're not. Russia's right. If they wanted to put boots on the ground, they could actually send people here without it flying all the way over the ocean to get to us. Because they're actually right. They're right to the left of us, connected. They're right there, up north. No land mass is where they say it is. It's all been lied to you because you use what they call a Mercator map. Hey, will you do this, M.Reck? Look up the Peterson projection map. I want to show people what the real world looks like. Because when you see what the real world looks like, then it begins. You begin to realize that, wow, how could I be living in the world and no place in the world is where I think it is, but yet I still go there. Let's see. The Peters projection map. This one that you're looking at, right? The one in the top left, you just saw. Now it's in the second image, right? The one. No. Go to the fourth. The third picture, fourth column. Go down one more. Third column. Yeah. Third column down. Third column over. Right. So you see how you're where you're scrolling at. Now go down. Go down. Now it's the third one down from where your marker is at. Go down. That's what the world looks like. Nope, you just passed it. That's the world. I want you to see. When I tell you you've been taught in reverse, backwards, look, that's what the world looks like. Look, it's upside down, ladies and gentlemen. It's upside down. You see, the top half of the map is connected because Russia and all that is connected to here. All that was one landmass. They know that. Now you can see. Now you can see why Europe is the #1 nation, right? Because we've adopted a top-bottom philosophy. You flip this map around and put Europe on top, then who's the dominant people? Europeans, because they're what? On top of the map. Because they know that everything in your world is a construct in your mind. So if they show you something and get you believe it, then you will experience the world from that belief. But as you clearly see, the earth, the Africa ain't where they say it's at. If you flip it upside down, we're not even in the same location anymore, are we? If wouldn't that mean that Europe is actually the South Pole? Wouldn't that mean that Antarctica is actually on the bottom? Do you understand?
Right.
It changes everything. That means that when you telling me it's the coldest in the north, that's a lie, ain't it? Because we have the map right here. Where would all that, we see that clearly the ice cap and everything is in the north, which is actually the south. Because we see the south is sunny and basically it must have a lot of warmth because we don't see the ice. We don't see the ice wall. Excuse me. But that's what I wanted to share about that, because my whole point is it's with the even with they're saying with the war and all this stuff that's supposedly headed our direction. None of it only works. It only works because we believe it. We conform to it. We say, yes, that is true. That is the way the world is. And then we accept it. And then they can carry out and things become to pass. Right? Someone said this map is not correct either. Well, I don't really believe any of the maps are 100% correct because they're all from the perception of an individual who did not map this from above the earth, but on it. The whole point is it's not what they're saying it is. The whole point is that if you begin to desensitize yourself and release the lies that you have based your life around, you will actually be able to have control of your own life and make a significant change in your life. Somebody said sometimes we talk too much. I'd love to understand what Amazon woman meant by that. And because at one point with her, I agree with her. I do feel as a collective community, we do too much talking about the things that are happening around us, and we have very little solutions to any of those problems. And now it's just become something that people use to prove that they are more intelligent than someone else, that they know more, to establish that in some way in their ego that they can feel like they have something the other person doesn't have. When at the end of the day, it doesn't really solve anyone's problem. It just enforces the problem that exists. So on one hand, I agree with her. Sometimes we do talk too much, especially about the terrible things. And we like to pride ourselves about how smart we are because of how much terrible things we know. So, but that's why I bring methods and practices. And we always start our show with the practice, something you can do that you can actually feel a definite change within yourself just from trying it right then and there. It's not something you're going to have to feel weeks into it, like, oh, now I get it. No, the moment you try it, there will be a shift in you. So yeah, the whole point was to show that no, here's more stuff to just prove to you that, and the beauty of it is, it's not a conspiracy theory. And the woman's name I told you guys about last time, who's here, who's going to greet the aliens, her name is Moslin Othman. And that's spelled, I think it's Mozlanotthman. Moslin Othman. I had sent it to you, remember, Rec?
Correct. If you can send me that again, send me, I guess, a link or whatever when you can. It don't have to be right now because I got something else that's actually like kind of breaking news. It came out like less than an hour ago. I put in the title: China sent spy drones over the U.S. military sites. So I'm about to pull that up, and yeah, that's kind of serious, man. That just been reported maybe an hour ago. Let me pull that up. Serious. Pound that like button. This is the live show. Literally.
Well, like I told you, China just threatened America. They did. Like, you'll find it in news sources. You could look it up. It didn't make mainstream news, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And here's one thing about all of this. Keep this in mind. None of these people care about their people.
Mm-hmm.
None of these people care about their people. All these elite people, they're all in together. They are not fighting against each other. They're fighting you.
Correct.
You are the one that's going to go die for their cause. You're the one that will suffer financially from the choices they're going to make for you. And they will justify it as stability for the earth and how we can all get together and what we need to do. But that's because that's the Hegelian dialect. Problem, reaction, solution. They create a problem, you react, and then they give you a solution. That solution is not going to benefit you because they are all in bed together. Okay? And the reason I'm telling you all this about to go down, because remember, they just came out, I believe we talked about this on the last show, right? They moved the doomsday clock to 90 seconds. Supposedly as close as it's ever been to midnight.
Wow.
The history of this thing being up. Okay? And these guys, this was what I found to be the fascinating part about it, the interesting thing about it. You have these group of scientists standing there and they unveil this clock and they are so happy to unveil it. You would figure they would be the ones that would be like, I don't think you guys really understand what's happening. You're not getting the science here, guys. Okay, we're concerned. But they're smiling. And then there's always one scientist looking very awkward, like, oh, he was forced to, put on a happy face or something, but he doesn't want to. But this was the picture they released about the doomsday clock being moved to 90 seconds.
Yeah, I put it on the screen. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. You see she looked pleased with herself. The Japanese dude looked pleased with herself. The old man, the lady though, and sitting here in the gray, she's very uncomfortable. How do you know that? Okay. There's something called pantomiming and micro expressions. I've studied these two things very deeply. These are things, I'm going to tell you, here's another little fact for the audience. There's something we do that's unnatural, and our body always responds to it. And you know what that is? It's called lying. Whenever we are not honest or trying to mask some way we feel or what we're thinking, our neurological system is not normal. So our body off sprints that into some movement. So if you notice, everyone here in this picture has a very open position, right? Notice her hands. Her hands are locked together. Notice everyone has a slight look of approval on their face, a sense of accomplishment for what they're doing. When you look at her face, you can see she's off looking down. This, and I can obviously she's looking down off to the left. This is obvious signs of shame, of feeling uncomfortable. It doesn't even, you can attribute to whatever incident you want, but whenever we do these particular things, these are the things we're going to experience, right? If I asked you to remember a time in your life, you're going to look up, and you're going to look up to the right, right? If you're recalling something or making something up, you will look up to the left. If it's something being deceitful, you'll look downward with your eyes, right? People who get away with things and they look like they're looking very serious, if you study their face, you'll see they're making micro expressions, right? And that woman's face says she's not happy about what she's showing people.
Facts.
You know, and that should have been like a major story, but it wasn't. And right after you see the date on that, right? We're not 2 weeks beyond the date of this. We've had tanks sent to Russia, extra explosions happening over there, a night of purging, you know. But if you're into crypto, everyone, this is the time. The feds came out and announced the 25 base point, and therefore crypto is going into a bull run, and it's all going up. It's all going up right now.
Oh, word. Let me check, including Bitcoin. Let me check.
It's all going up. It's all on the uptick. Shiba Inu. If you got any Shiba Inu, hold on to buy some more, because in a bull run toward the end of it, that's when everybody starts dumping and getting rid, and that's where you make money. They went through a 2-year bearish, almost a 2-year bearish market, and now everything is changing up again. Why? Because when war comes in and calamity and confusion, what happens? Wealth transfer. Wealth transfer. Remember, it's getting closer to getting rid of the dollar. That's happening every day. You don't even know it, but the dollar's gone.
Facts.
I like what Amazon woman said. She said, they think they are gods, therefore they are. And that is the truth. We're all creators and we have the right to co-create. And all that's really going on is a particular group has formed a pendulum, and we are all assisting in the co-creation of the reality they would like us to be in. But at the end of the day, we have to make the choice to do whatever they want us to do, or to respond how they want us to respond. And one day you'll individually, as individuals wake up to the truth, they begin to realize that they have the ability to create the life they want within themselves. And that can be reflected and expressed within the 3D. The moment we individually begin to act on our own true desires and our own I amness, that is when we'll form a collective. Because every person here on earth was put here to benefit humanity in one way or another. We all have a gift that no one else possesses. There's something, every human being is a fingerprint, which means we all possess something that makes us unique. They have brainwashed us into believing we're all the same. Why? By making us all try to look the same, dress the same. They give you a group of people and they tell you they're celebrities and you need to monitor what they do and how they dress and how they behave. And all you see is people walking around trying to emulate those they believe are successful. Or in other words, they're emulating people that they believe have something that they don't have. So now we're at a pivotal point. Will we will we go along with this, or will all of us individually start finding that divine light in ourselves and acting on that? Because when you go inside, you don't have to do no work. You're not going to have to take a bunch of actions. These things are just going to start happening inside of you. Your life will just present exactly what it is you're supposed to do next. You don't know what you're supposed to do next. And if you really let this system go, you'll probably figure out that you never knew who you were, because you spent so much time trying to be what others either around you, your family, your mother, your father, your boyfriend or girlfriend, or just your social peers. You spent your life and your desires based on a reward punishment system. If I do good, get good grades, then I will pass, and my parents will let me stay up late. They'll buy me toys and I'll get what I want. But if I don't do what people tell me to do, then I'll be punished. Well, I could be beat, I could be put on punishment, and they could even take everything away from me that's mine. This is how you've been psychologically conditioned. You have to look at that. And when you lose that, when you lose the needing of reward from others around you to be happy, but then you begin to excel in your own personal growth. And then all the things you say is wrong, you'll realize nothing's wrong with anything. Everything is exactly designed the way it's supposed to. And all of it offers you a gift. All of it. And then you'll find your power. And then the things you think will begin to happen in front of you. That's where we're at. The other thing I wanted to mention was, there's a big uptake in mysterious deaths.
Okay, so you can go into that, and then we're gonna tap SJ in so she can cover the breaking news on the Chinese spy cam and all that. So let's go into the sudden deaths and all that real quick.
Well, all you had to do is Google sudden deaths, and
All right.
that's just going to come up, because this is something I've been telling you for a while. Like, they've been hiding all of this information.
Should I put sudden deaths in sports or sudden deaths just in general?
You could put spike in sudden deaths,
Okay.
or sudden deaths are up. However you phrase it, it's going to come up because of the way the key domain words work.
So it says sudden cardiac deaths rise by 10%. That's the first result that came up. Should I click on that? Let me see. Let me see what.
It's a rabbit hole. You're going to see that they're attributed it. They're saying, well, people's hearts are just stopping. You just had if you Google the football, you have the football player who just passed away, who had just retired. Then you had the dude from Arizona State who just died. You had, I think she was 18 years old, some special gifted little girl or whatever in the high school. She died in her classroom. There's been so many people dropping dead right now that they can't even hide it. Literally, and now they got to, in order to try to cover this up and not have people panicking.
Definitely suppressing it, because it's stuff coming up, but it's like the images of the actual people who's not coming up. They definitely suppressing it, and you could tell
because you'd have to get it from those local papers. So you've had people, going around making, pulling the articles from various sources and putting it all, like collaging them all together, because they are trying to keep this as quiet as they can. But there are so many people just literally just dropping dead.
Yeah, they suppressing. I could tell by how the results is
they're
coming.
not going to be able to hide it much longer. So now they're starting to say that
I'm gonna just so people could see
myocarditis is not uncommon in children. Has anyone seen those type of articles making the rounds?
Hold on 1 second. Matter of fact, SJ's backstage. So Talib, let me get SJ to cover this breaking news real quick, and then we're gonna jump back into the sudden.
Okay, yes, sir.
Give me 1 second. Let me bring her in. SJ, you there?
Salute.
Salute. How you feeling?
I'm okay. How are you? Salute to Talib as well and Wreck
Yeah.
Mob.
Yep. I think he tapped out. He's gonna tap back in.
Okay, no
Salute to
problem.
the whole rec mob. So SJ, you got the article in front of you that I
I
sent.
do.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up on the screen the same way I sent it to you because I don't know, for some reason on the phone and the way it pulls up on the computer, it's like two different layouts. It's weird. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, it's weird the way it's pulling up on the what is the first uh what's the first opening statement? I mean opening words on the article I sent you. I just want
So the first paragraph starts off with the government has been.
has been monitoring.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I got that. All right, let me bring it on the screen so we good. Okay. So let me see. Yep, here we go. So SJ is going to cover this breaking news on China sitting over like a spy drone in form of a balloon. So she's going to cover this story real quick for the Rec Mob and the whole M.Reck TV. So everybody listen up. Everybody pound the like button while SJ covered this story. You can read 1 or 2 paragraphs or, wherever you feel like you get the gist of the story. So SJ is on you.
Okay. The government has been monitoring a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon that has been hovering over the northern U.S. for the past few days, and military and defense leaders have discussed shooting it out of the sky, according to two U.S. officials and a senior defense official. The United States government has detected and is tracking a high altitude surveillance balloon that is over the continental United States right now. Pentagon spokesperson Pat Ryder told NBC News, "We continue to track and monitor it closely."
Mm. Wow. SJ, I appreciate that. So that's the breaking news. So China sent over a drone balloon to U.S. military defense, you know, area to spy on, I guess, the weaponry and everything that we have. Because China, I guess, is plotting for war. So be in tune with everything that's going on. SJ, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And I tap in with you in the chat room.
All right.
All right. Peace,
Uh,
SJ. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Peace. Talib, you there?
Yes, sir. I was given the most incredibly awesome and wonderful SJ the floor to
Yeah.
share.
Yes. Nah, I appreciate that. She does an amazing job across the board. So yeah, what you think about this whole uh, China sending that spy drone, in the
Well,
form of a
this is
balloon.
not the first time they've sent drones over. And the interesting thing is that article is they didn't shoot it down.
Mm,
They're saying that they took necessary steps to assure that no sensitive data was lost. But
mm-hmm,
that's to assume you're aware of the technology that is on the balloon.
mm-hmm,
One, two is it said it came in from Canada and through Montana,
mm,
and it was flying through Montana and continues to fly, right?
correct.
Which means how much information did it already get?
Facts.
So once, and like I said, this is all like it just plays into that story of the that they're creating, that we have these big, great, terrible enemies that are coming to get us, and we got to be ready. And so when they do whatever they go to do, which I'm telling you, there isn't, you don't know anything about a natural war. We haven't lived in a time of natural war. People, the soldiers on the battlefield will tell you my father was there alive, my aunt, I have a lot of relatives who's in the military. I know that it wasn't fake to them. They was really at war when they was out there, right? But the reality is they weren't fighting for something to actually, for what they believed they were fighting for. What they were fighting for was to bring the world under one government umbrella and under one system of control. That's not, they thought they was fighting for freedom. You see? So now that everybody's starting to wake up to the truth, it's like, oh, we can, actually make a difference and change some of this. These guys are sitting in office representing you and me, so they say. Yet we didn't actually put any of these people in the position they're in.
Correct.
Right? Because, so once we start this is why I'm glad everything I have been telling you, like, they're setting up. Don't take this World War III so lightly, because what if they have been spending think about it like this, before the last situation we had where everybody had to stay home, what did you see? A bunch of movies about people being, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Right? You saw a bunch of stuff like that, right? And what have they started pumping real hard again? War movies.
Mm-hmm. Hard body.
War movies. War movies are being pumped hard. They ain't had no real war against no real enemy in forever, so they have to keep going back to the only staged event where they had a somewhat real opponent who wasn't working with them.
Pound that like button, y'all.
But other than that, like, we go places and we destabilize. America is known as an economic hitman. Okay? We go in, we train radical groups, we fund them, and we get them to destabilize what was functional governments. And then when we destabilize, we go in and we take all the resources. Or we basically begin to own and extort the resources they have. Mm-hmm. Who's gone to war with America? We have a military base in every country on the face of the earth. We have all of that. There's no, and not to mention that because they use subversion and psyops and manipulation, they usually end up installing people right into their governments. So this is not natural. And we can wake up to the fact that the people aren't the ones doing this. Then we can take the few, and they'll just sort of they'll have to get out the equation. They'll have no choice but to get out the equation, because they're only in the equation because we as a collective believe they are needed. And we don't believe we can govern ourselves. You ask the person, society without this government, that's crazy. It might be bad, but you don't even know how lawless everything would be, because they treat us like animals. If we don't have owners and trainers that, give us tasks and make sure we'll just behave like animals. You are not an animal. Mm-hmm. You are that which named the animals. Every human being has self-governance. It's stored within the makeup of the human genome. So that's what I did want to share. And as far as you're going to hear a lot more about China, because remember, they're on two fronts right now. I told you their banking system collapsed already. It collapsed about 2 months ago, but nobody talked about it. And then what did they do? They brought in the whole, everything going over there has to do with the lockdowns. right? And they misdirected all those protests that you saw with those people, and they put their own tags over it, and then gave you their contextual understanding and opinion of the footage, therefore altering what you were perceiving. Right?
Right.
So you don't know what those people were in the street for unless you were able to somehow get a little bit of information here and there and go, oh. And then, maybe some Chinese people got some footage out. Now you looking at it and you can hear these people hollering about their money. Right? But that's all a big distraction. So nobody knows what's going on with the money because they're taking the banking system offline. All of you think you've been on 5G. You haven't. That's illusion. They haven't actually, when they first put that stuff on, you know what ended up happening? Planes started falling out the sky. They started to put it back on again toward December. What happened? Planes started falling out the sky. And they don't care. They're still going to put them up. The only reason they didn't get to already was because the FCC made them put a stop to it while they ran the safety test again. You're just running safe. They've already put all the towers up everywhere, and now you're checking for safety? Don't you think it's a little late for that? So this year, 5G is actually going live. People say because they say it on their phone, well, it must be 5G. It's not 5G. They offer 5G service. They tell you you're going to be on a 5G line, but that's not actually 5G. Every place they cut this thing on and used it, people got sick. Equipment began to malfunction. And the only reason it's coming now is because the phone company said, I don't care. We have an agreement. It's already done, and we're rolling it out. So that's coming out. So that's where you get a lot of these numbers, and people think it's the what happened, right? I try not to use that language. Well, I don't use that language. When in actuality, now that it's starting to come out, now the truth is out. Now you see, wait, man, those numbers was fudge. No one thought about when they was reporting all those deaths to you. You didn't think about, well, what happened to all the people that was dying from the flu just a year before that? It was the largest, like more than 1 million people that died from the flu. What happened to the flu? What happened to all the cancer? What happened to all the heart disease? Remember, all these people couldn't go to the hospital now. Right? So these people were dying at home. And what did they say? Oh, they had that. That's why they died. They died from that, a complication of that. Why? Because for every person the hospital said had that, they received an extra $13,000.
And if they died, I think they received $30,000. Yep.
That's quite an incentive. Then they kept telling you that the hospitals were overran, right?
Correct.
But what didn't they tell you? That all hospitals, in order to keep the funding that they get, must keep an 80% occupancy at all time. Whoa, what does that mean? You only had room for 20% people anyway. So was that really a hard thing to fill up the hospital at that point? Nope. Okay.
Pound that like button. Pound that like button, y'all.
So there wasn't. Here's another thing. You could look into this too. They're being sued because they've never actually had a live culture sample of it. There never was an actual culture sample where any scientist actually got the culture sample and ran any test on this thing to even talk about its mutations or doing what it's doing. No one's ever had any of it. Now people are getting sick. Why are they getting sick? They're getting sick because they gave them something. They know it, and anybody who says, "Oh, that's conspiracy," no, just go look at the news right now. They're doing their best to cover this up, so they're telling on each other. They're telling on each other in large numbers. You see what I'm saying? Because they'll never whisper the ones on top. No one would dare whisper their name. No one will say that. They'll take the L before they say that. They'll start telling on their own mothers before they say that. So now it's coming out. It's out. You can look it up. It's not a conspiracy. As I tell to people all the time, I don't like conspiracy theories. I don't do them. Not into them. I'm not going to indulge in them. There's plenty of hard line facts that you can use when you're talking to certain people who are practicing what you call cognitive dissonance. Okay, this was the psyop. They programmed most people with cognitive dissonance. All right. Someone said they was putting it in greens and vegetables. Here's the thing: it was on the test, the PCR test. The guy who created the PCR test, you should go look this up. He said you can't even use it for that. Okay, everything is up right now. People are dying left and right from whatever they're saying, and then for a while they've been sweeping under the rug, but now it's getting harder to sweep under the rug because you have too many elements of that coming together, which now it's time to do a spin on it. So they're going to play it off as we didn't really know, and we did say this, and so didn't really do this and that, and we'll throw it all on that individual. Because that's the easiest and best way to do it, because as long as it's a story, people will tell it. They won't see what's really happening because they'll be too involved with the story. But if you step outside the story, you'll sort of see, oh, there is definitely a direction. You can sort of see how they're designing this for people to get involved with it, because they've already come out and out there where you are, and they were saying that you got to give those people their jobs back, right?
Correct.
But how many of these people actually got their jobs back?
It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Like, man, matter of fact, I need to find that info. Yeah, I need to bring that up because there's so much going on. Y'all need to know this, because a lot of people lost their jobs due to, they were saying if you didn't if you didn't get the jab, you couldn't work. But hold on, let me bring up this information here. You need to see this right here, because let me see. I know I sent it to my guy.
I'm gonna let you in on a little something, okay? So I don't know this individual. I know somebody that is connected to somebody who works at the CDC, and that was on that particular task force. And I can tell you that a month into it, the task force wasn't doing anything about it anymore. I'm telling you this. From someone who worked there. And I'm telling you that there's some other things coming down the pipeline. And they're getting them ready. But they ain't brought that task force back.
Mm-hmm. I have the clip, but it got some music underneath, so I don't know if I can.
I appreciate how that person said that's hearsay. What I'm saying is, for me, that's a direct person that actually works for them. And I'm sharing that, but you don't have to use that as the basis of your information, right? For the individual Vaughn who I actually appreciate his comment and saying that's hearsay, and I appreciate that, and it just shows that this individual is a thinker and someone who's paying attention to what's being said. But I like to clarify for them that this is from my personal connection that I'm just sharing. That now notice I'm not telling you got to run off and go base your life on that, but it's just adding to the already substantial and viable evidence that does exist.
Correct. Know what I'm gonna start doing? Can you see the screen, Talib?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna start highlighting questions, and you can start, you know, engaging into these questions. So right now, well, this is not like a question. Somebody's actually putting out a statement. So I would like for you to elaborate on that. So if you see me highlight some
Well,
things, you can
okay.
elaborate on it.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that this person asked about the box. They are getting smaller because you have to remember. Oh, we spoke on this.
Hmm.
If anybody go and look, you know. But we've already talked about how. Listen, the farmers came out. Nobody wanted to listen to them. The farmers came out and they told that they was told to destroy crops.
Correct.
And if they didn't destroy, they had a choice. They didn't have to, but if they didn't destroy the crops, they wouldn't get the subsidies for the next harvest. Okay, so they intentionally went out and destroyed a bunch of food. They're pushing the market that way. And when you look at the cans and the all of it has gotten smaller. Look on it, you'll see it doesn't have the regular ounces you're used to. They'll be about 2 ounces shorter than what it was before, which means they were prepared for this to some degree because that's cans, boxes, all of that is its own industry.
Hmm.
I mean, they had to put the order in to get. We need a million, 6 ounce cartons. You see what I'm saying? So they've already planned to cut back the amount of food and create their own uh, uh, food shortage.
Oh yeah. Now I want you to address this. Look at the screen. You can read it and then address it. So for the people that may not, they might just be listening.
Oh, well, no. When they saying, is it true that they put HIV in that? No, they didn't. What they put in there, okay, was an organism. They put an organism in people, and they put it's nano-organisms that behave like parasites, right? One of the reasons is because they're going to put everybody on the blockchain. They've already biohacked the human genome. So no, that's not in there, and that's not what. And what's really messing a lot of people up that are suffering from that is the fact that it's causing their blood to coagulate. Their blood. You can look this up because a lot of coroners and morticianers started filming and was like, "What is this?" Because they were finding these incredible, like almost like congealed globs of blood in people, right? And this is what was caused people's hearts to go into murmuring and then into myocarditis. So no, they put something way worse than there. They put something way worse than that in there. And the other stuff you just told, HIV is an immune compromiser. See, what you don't realize is, and you can look this up too. This is very incredible. They have figured out how to digitize viruses.
Hmm.
What digitize? Yeah, like to give you a virus through emitting a frequency, right? This is what they have this technology now. So the whole point of that particular thing they're giving people today was to, you know, they want to wipe out a particular number of the population, which they're successfully doing without anybody being aware of it. And two, those that wasn't wiped that would be primed with the correct metal urgents inside their body, along with a nano-sized computer system that's floating around reproducing inside of you. This is something else, right? This thing is meant to go in there and rewrite your DNA. If it rewrites your DNA and starts plugging in stuff in your DNA that was never there, then you're not the same person anymore. And they have figured out a way to evolve and to manipulate the human genome to start. What they would like to do is start producing the type of people that are in the world. It would have absolute control over every man, woman, and child on the planet. That's their evil, sinister comic book plan. And anybody who doesn't believe it, all you have to merely do is go look into transhumanism, go look up the fact that death is now a disease, that they are telling you that it's not natural. All of it is now right here in front of you for your own. Like, you don't need to even go down that other weird path of this guy sitting in the basement telling you something. Because at the end of the day, all of the real meaty stuff has already been like, they've already said, yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's real. Here's a bit of positive news. NASA and the science particular group of people from there has discovered that you have something called the wealth gene. That there is a particular gene in your body, when activated, you become extremely lucky. Money flows to you, things happen, good things just happen to you. When this particular gene is activated. So now you know why they're trying to put so much stuff in you, so you don't activate those genes, because they're there. The more you dig into what they're doing, the more it reveals how great you really are. That's what it reveals. It only reveals for every evil, sinister act you go looking into what they're trying to do, it is only a direct reflection of the greatness you actually possess. They have gone so far to hold your attention. And the solution is somebody asked, what's the solution? To go within, to learn the Silva method, to learn the Sedona method, learn EFT, learn that you have an emotional and energetic body that exists with your physical body. And when that body is off balance and out of tune, that it will attract things in your life that represent that. And that when you balance your own personal energy out, it changes your own world. That is the answer, to go within. So we offer here methods for you to practice, not just from us, but that you can go out and find on your own. And no one's asking you to come up with hundreds and hundreds of dollars that either you have or may not have, depending on what your story is. But instead, here is something that you can go do. It's not going to cost you a bunch of money. What it will cost you is to change some of the things you're doing and thinking. Once you change your thinking, your actions will change anyway. What's the first step to changing your thinking? Change your language. Become aware of what you're saying. And ask yourself this one question whenever you're about to say something. Does what I'm about to say serve me? Does it serve me? Is the story I'm about to give, right, one that doesn't support what I desire? Right? And for the individual unknown who said, what's the solution for it? I gave you the solution. It is the Silva method. It's the Sedona method. It is the going within, to pull away from the world outside of you and go and visit the world within you. Stop going to sleep to nonsense. Stop watching extremely violent television shows and finding yourself, this is how I relax myself. Why? Filling my mind with someone else in danger. start with your language. From there, move on to meditating. How do you meditate? How can I do that? That's simple. The first thing you want to do is, the first thing when you get up in the morning, you're in the alpha state. You don't even have to get out of bed. You close your eyes, you sit up and you close your eyes in the bed, and you immediately give thanks for breathing air, for a beautiful day that's been granted to you, for the fact that you are one of those, the one that gets to live today and experience today. And then you close your eyes and just be quiet. Be quiet. Follow the darkness. You might see a light, a little dot or something. Follow it. Just sit there and be quiet. Observe your thoughts. Let them talk to you for the first time without connecting to them. Yes, Anthony said breathing exercises. I was going to mention that, but I want to talk about the most basic way. For those people who say, oh, I don't know how to breathe, I don't know how to do all of that. What can I do? Something super simple. I need it now. Well, this is now. This is how you do it. You wake up in the morning, you sit there, and you give yourself 15 minutes. Set a timer and you close your eyes and just breathe naturally and sit there, and yourself will bring everything to you that you need to know. But cut out the outside stimulus. The moment you close your eyes, you cut off 80% of the world around you. When you first wake up, it takes 20 minutes for your brain to go from an alpha state into a beta state. So when you first wake up, you could actually set the intention of your day if you take 15 minutes. Just try it, see what happens. Another way you can change your life in a significant way, almost overnight, stop arguing with people in your head. We all do it. If we have a boss or somebody at work we can't stand and we know we got to deal with them, we immediately begin in our minds to create scenarios in which these people represent that thing we can't stand. But that isn't using your imagination to your service or benefit. So the next time you have to deal with someone you consider to be difficult, don't see them as difficult. In your mind's eye, see the scenario happening going just the way you like it. Hear them complimenting you. Hear them agreeing with you. And allow the emotion of that feeling of them agreeing with you to be there. Vaughn said, that's an assumption. That's right, because your whole life is an assumption. Everything that's going on in your world is based on your assumption of it. You can change your world by your assumption. Not the things you say to others to prove that you're right, but then you don't truly believe. But your true belief system, when you truly let go of something, and that's why we share the Sedona method, then you're able to easily bring these things to you, because resistance to anything is resistance to everything. We only know our personal perspective, Vaughn. That's the only perspective that we know. You will never be in the shoes of anyone that you like or care about or anything, because you can never walk from their awareness, because you are awareness. And when you realize there is only your personal perspective, and the only thing in your life that needs to change is nothing. When you begin to realize that you are already whole, perfect, and complete. For those that say, I don't believe I'm perfect, I'll just simply let you know this. The version of you is perfectly doing whatever it's doing. The version of you that is, say, if there's a version that is on drugs, that is the perfect drug version of you. Because there are infinite versions of you, and you don't need to change any of them. You experience them and you shift to the next one. When you realize there's nothing wrong with you, you'll embrace yourself. You can't love yourself if you think something's wrong with you. Right? So the self-love is where it starts. We wasn't taught self-love. We was taught that if we have someone else loves us, then we are worth loving, and then that's love. So this is the time to go within and let your world fall apart in front of you. because it's only teaching you something. All the stuff everybody's experiencing that's falling apart, be it relationships, money, job, whatever it is, it's because you've been in desperate control of it. And you're not honest with yourself. Let me tell you the number one reason for relationships going bad. Because most people enter into relationships without being honest with what they really want. Because we've been taught reward and punishment. So some men who may like to have sex with lots of women will never just be honest about that because that's frowned upon. That's a societal shame. He's a whoremonger. He's this, he's that. So what does he end up doing? Right? Instead of being honest, he ends up dating one of the girls he sees. And now he's in a relationship attempting to what? Be monogamous. Because it's not, you understand? Because now he's trying to go against his own desires and prove to himself that he doesn't want what he wants. This is the nature of how all things go bad. So release. Release everyone that you have a condition on. Release all conditions in order to have relationships with the people you say you care about. Release them of their conditions. Oh, you have to do this and do that if you want me to be happy. Or I can't be around you and deal with you when you acting like this. You know, when you say that, that triggers me. These are all the things we have to let go of. That's conditions you're putting on someone else in order for you to feel something you're capable of generating yourself. And when you move from there, then the relationships, the job, your happiness, the career, that talent you bring here to earth, that you come here to share with us, to help us all move forward, then you're able to express it. So that's how you do it. For the individual to ask, well, what do we use? What can I do? This is what you can do. And anybody who feel they can't get to that, all you have to do is start becoming aware of your language. Start changing your language now. Don't say you have a problem. Say you have a challenge. If something bad, what you consider or label as the story of bad happening, call it fascinating. Something fascinating happened to me today. It was very interesting. You feel like you're having a rough day? Oh, today has been very transformative. It's beautiful. I actually got to do a lot of growing today. This is where you can start. And the effects are immediate. They don't take weeks and days for you, or even hours. The moment you start doing it, you'll feel better inside. And then you'll start seeing that you are not your thoughts. You are awareness. You are what the thoughts are trying to, you're the attention they're trying to get. You're the attention that your thoughts are trying to get. And if you take the hand of a thought, it'll lead you down a maze. Okay, so that's where you start. That's where the change happens, with you. And the first change is with your language. And I'll say this one last thing and we'll move on. I say this quite often. This is my own philosophy. I didn't get this from nobody else's book. This came to me in my own meditations. You're always right. And I know a lot of people will tell me, well, that's not true. I've been wrong about a lot of things. And I simply say to them, but aren't you right about that? You can't even be wrong if you're not right. You're always right. So what is the real question? Fonvon said, even when you're wrong. Exactly. Because if you can't say, yes, you're right, I'm wrong, then how are you wrong? It's not until you say, yeah, that's right. I messed up. I did this.
Mm-hmm.
That it is even an error to you. So you're always right. So the real question is this. Just let this resonate with you. This is the real question. What do you want to be right about? You want to be right that your life is hard? You want to be right that no one will love you, or that you don't make enough money, or no one sees your value? Is that what you want to be right about? Because for a lot of us, that's the stories we tell. And we're right about our stories, right? When we say people don't like us, what do we go outside and we see? We meet people that don't like us. When we say, man, these people out here are crazy, I can't get nobody to do nothing straight. What's wrong with everybody? What do you go outside and you see? You see people who can't get stuff straight, and it seems like something's wrong with everybody.
Hmm.
Is it true? It's not, because you're projecting that onto them. Think of everybody in the world like a mannequin to you, and you are a mannequin to them. Do you realize everyone you meet is a background or a co-star in your story, in your movie?
Yep.
So why in the world would you want to be a background in your own movie? You're the lead role in your life. When you begin to accept that and love that, then all the rest of the stuff will come to you, because it's just indicative of that emotional state. If you keep looking for those things to bring to have that emotional state, well, your life will always be in turmoil, up and down. Sometimes you get things, other times it goes all completely wrong. You can't figure nothing out, because you're allowing on the 3D world to create the feeling for you. And if it doesn't, then you're not happy and you're constantly searching for it, not realizing you created the state of feeling you're in. You decided that thing made you feel that way, so you don't need that thing to feel that way. And when you realize that and just begin to feel good, well, you'll get all the other things you want.
Talib, I know you answered this question already. A million times over, but I'm gonna highlight it anyway, just in case they may be new.
Oh, it's fine. I don't mind.
It's on the screen.
Yes, there's a way to rid the body of garbage. Here's one way. First of all, it's not garbage. Change your language. It's not garbage. What it is you have stored in your emotional body your negative experiences in life. You haven't released those negative experiences emotionally. And that emotional energy creates illnesses, blocks in your meridians, blocks in your chi points. These blocks and meridians cause illnesses. One way, if you'd like to try, is it completely free. You can look it up. It's EFT, emotional freedom tapping. This is where you tap on key acupuncture points while making declarations and statements to direct and release the stored negative energy, to rebalance the energy field of the body, and then tap in new and positive affirmations, suggestions, and also energy as well. And you will see that they have used this technology to heal people, okay, from a wide range of illnesses and diseases. It's something that's been around for, I want to say at least a good 40 years. Okay, you may have never really even heard of it, but when you go looking into it, you'll be very impressed and surprised with how many people are actually involved in it, how many people are teaching it and sharing it, because it changed their life. They actually use it, right? And that is a great way to reestablish the energy in the body in a very quick way, and to get rid of a lot of that negative stuff or negative energy that's accumulated or built up over time. Someone said barefoot upon the soil grounding. Yes, if you do barefoot practice, though, you need to get up early and you need to be out there as the sun is rising. You want to get the sun while it's still sort of weak, so you can stare directly into the sun while your feet are planted in the ground, breathing into your dantian, So you create a circular motion. And when you're doing the breathing, the key to the breathing out there when you're standing there is when you breathe in through your nose, you release through your nose. You don't let any of that chi go. You want to create a circular motion where it comes up from the dantian, from the ground, up the dantian, over the back, of the top of the head, over the face, back down, all the way out through the front of the toes. And that's how you want to imagine and bring the energy up as you're staring into the sun. And then it does have profound magical effects. I would never suggest that someone does this after 6 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. in the morning, where the sun has begun to reach that, it has that shine now where you can't stare at it comfortably, right? You don't want to do that. Then you want to do this at a point where your eyes are comfortable, because in the beginning, your eyes will be weak. If you do this for a while, you'll see that you can stay out there and be out and that staring toward into the sun, absorbing that energy for a much longer time. But initially, I would say start early in the morning around, I would say 5:45, about 6 a.m. The sun is coming up, over the horizon. That's when you can start to stare and you watch it come all the way up, and it's orange, and and you sit there and you do your breathing with your shoes off, feet in the earth, and you will feel the effects. And it is a good way to take in that solar and that vitamin D, and to also balance your energy. By the reason your shoes are off is you want to connect with the earth. And when you start breathing like that, you start extending out, let's say, your feelers or from your neurological system, and then you start to connect with the precession of the earth, which is about 8 hertz. And then your body goes into that same vibrational frequency, and that's why it's healing and therapeutic for you. You're welcome, Vaughn. Vaughn, you were asking, usually if I see questions and I see people responding or saying things in the chat, I will do my best to respond to you. And, because I'm here to be of assistance any way I can. Before, we used to be able to, people could call in and we could actually talk, and we were able to make great progress by being able to actually speak with each other, because I could really hone into you and we can work together, right? In this particular sense, for some reason, we haven't been able to establish that anymore. So now I just pay very close attention to the chat, and I do my best to answer. So anybody is asking something or has something, I'll do my best to make sure I answer your question.
Maybe we could do this.
But
I just want to avoid the people that's going to try to go left. I could probably put up the StreamYard link, and maybe we could bring people up that way that want to ask you a question, and maybe, they can get through that way. For some reason, the phone, you're not able to hear them, and vice versa.
Well, I can always hear them. They just can't never hear me.
They can't hear you. Rather.
Yeah.
So.
But if you wanted to take calls or anything like that, or you were ready to move on, I was in getting the download. So I'm like, listen, this is what it is. Hey guys, I'm glad you asked that, because I'm prepared to share this in the simplest forms. This doesn't have to be complicated.
Definitely. I mean, if you want to, I guess, come up on the StreamYard, you don't have to be on camera. So you can actually just, have like a default image and speak. Or, I think that's the best way, because when we try the phones, it's like they can't hear you, and it's so I may want to try to stream y'all. So if y'all got some questions and you really want to speak to Talib direct, you could do it through the StreamYard. I could give y'all the link. So if you want the link, just put it in the chat room. You know what I mean? If you want to get on stage, backstage, to speak to Talib, which it would be live, just let it be known in the chat room. Send us a chat.
Naga Charlie asked, Naga, I like that. The legend of Naga Charlie, I love it. He asked if touching trees, can you harness energy from the trees? Yes, because that's all still a part of the earth. Yes. Yes, when I used to have my Qigong classes, I would take all my students and we'd be around a giant tree and we do the Qigong around the tree. And it was very powerful because, see, there's something, and let me explain why this can happen. So before, I like to demystify things. I like to remove the esoteric nature from things and show how it's actually very possible and very logical. There is thought energy. Your thoughts, the mind, what's going on, your awareness, it's giving off a lot of energy, more than you can imagine, a lot. Matter of fact, your thoughts travel, thought energy travels 1,000 times faster than the speed of light. And remember, the speed of light is constant within a Julian year in a vacuum. Okay? And the thing is, it's all around you. The thought energy and living energy, the force of all living things are around you, and they can't be interpreted. You don't interpret them because you've been taught to not recognize that as one of your senses and abilities to interpret the world around you. And you have only been told you have 5 senses to interpret the world around you, and 3 of them are the same. For anybody that will wonder, well, what is that? Well, taste, smelling, and sight. Oh, I'm sorry, 4. And hearing. Oh, all of them. All of them are touch. All of them are a form of touch. Every last one of them. All of them require you to have some form of touching or what you consider an interaction with vibrational frequency in order to experience it. Right? But you have other additional senses to interpret thought energy. You do it all the time. You don't realize it, but I'll give you an example of you with thought energy. One example is that you have a friend, you guys are close, you hang out a lot. Something's going on with them. You wake up one day, y'all not together, something going on with them, but you just have a feeling and you call them and they go, oh man, you got great timing, man. Something was going on and this, that, and the third. And you're like, oh wow, that was sort of spooky. Right? That's thought energy. That's you interpreting their thought energy. But because you've been around this person, you resonate. Now you've connected a psychic link to this individual. As you can psychically link to all things. This can be taught to you through the Silva method. Some people wonder why, you go back some shows, you'll see that people was like, is he reading people's minds? How does he know what I was going to say? I practice the Silva method. I'm in tune. I can interpret thought energy. It's all there to be interpreted. And if you open yourself to it, the information will just flow to you. It's not something you have to put a lot of, real mental energy in trying to pull off. You'll just open it like a floodgate. And someone asks, there was another question, but I didn't see what it said.
Hold on, which one?
M.Reck, can you ask him this for me? How can I stop negative things from happening to me? I try my best to be positive. Okay. Here's the thing. I will tell you how you can stop negative things from happening to you. The first part is to stop telling the story of negative things happening to you. That's one. That's very important. That story wants to be told every chance it gets. 2 is, if you would just go look into that Sedona method for me. If I could speak to you, I would take you through it, and we can get some of that going right now. But the first thing you have to do is stop telling that story. Right? You have to start the process of stopping the assumption that negative things happen to me, no matter if I'm being positive or not. If I'm being positive, I try my best, which means if you're trying to be positive, then you don't feel positive. You see, that's very important, which means you have to understand there's nothing wrong with negative. You're interpreting as whatever you're experiencing as a bad thing going on. But there is a lesson there. There is something for you divinely meant just for you in every moment and experience you get. That's your gift, that you can stop, step back, and be open to what is being shown to you. Right? You're never going to just stop negative thoughts. That's not really what happens. What happens is we begin to realize that we are not our thoughts. And when we realize we are not our thoughts and we tune ourselves, then it's like a radio station. When I flow into the direction of feeling a certain way, then those are the thoughts I receive. Now, I'm going to give you an exercise that you can do, and you can try this even now if you like, because this is a fact. I'm going to show you how you can change your thoughts, because it happens quick and you don't realize it, and then it's your day. Here's what you do. For 17 seconds, and you only have to do 17 seconds. Go into a complete rampage of all the good things you can find. And okay, I love my life. I love breathing air. You know what? I really do see this day as a beautiful day. Wow, look at that. That's a cloud. I like that cloud. I've never seen a cloud like that before. It's beautiful. The air smells really good today. I can't believe it. I get to be a part of this good smelling air today. Well, you know what else I get to be a part of? My own day. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go out and get me a cup of coffee. Oh, my goodness. They make the best coffee over there. They just got that new one. I'm going to go over there and get that coffee. This is so wonderful. My day is going to be amazing. You do this for 17 seconds and stop and watch what happens. The thoughts will just follow. The thoughts will just follow. But if you sit there and try to fight and make and go against the negative thoughts and push it out and push it away, it only gets bigger. You got to let it in. There's nothing wrong with what's happening for you right now. It's beautiful, because from this only comes expansion. This is the time the universe is giving everyone the opportunity. Hey, all those things you were doubting, all those things you were afraid that might happen, guess what? The universe said, here you go. It's all happening now. Now you don't have to worry anymore because it's happening, right? There you go. There it is. It's all out on the table. All the stuff you was worried about, and you was doing all these other things to keep that thing from happening. And look, here you go. It's done. Now you can move on. Now you can go ahead and do what you really want to do. It's all for a reason. It's so beautiful. It's such a wonderful thing when you realize it's all to serve you. It's all in service of you. Someone said L's a lesson learned. That's right. That's right. Sometimes it's only a loss if you see it as a loss. It only is a loss if you feel like you lost. If you don't feel like you lost, then coming in second isn't a loss at all. Matter of fact, there wasn't anybody else in the race in your mind. Your whole point was to do the race.
Correct, King. I'm gonna pull this not to cut your wisdom. I'm gonna pull this clip up real quick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
eating them more than affected the most, probably because of BPA that's found in the packaging, which is known to mess with those estrogen levels. And a look at what exactly happens once ramen noodles make it into your stomach. And it's all thanks to a camera swallowed like a pill. You can see the stomach contracting back and forth, trying to grind up those noodles.
Striking thing about our experiment, when you look at a time interval, 1 hour or 2 hours, we noticed that processed ramen noodles were less broken down than homemade ramen noodle.
And take a closer look. You can clearly see the difference between 20 minutes and 2 hours of digestion. Have you ever eaten ramen noodles? Exactly. Here's the deal. New research from the Mayo Clinic is showing that it can increase the risk for metabolic syndrome, especially for women. And that can mean increased risk for heart problems, stroke, and diabetes. But researchers say it's not just ramen. Any instant noodle products could be putting you in danger if you're eating them more than twice a week. So why are women affected the most? Probably because of BPA that's found in the packaging, which is known to mess with those estrogen levels. And a look at what exactly happens once ramen noodles make it into your stomach. And it's all thanks to a camera swallowed like a pill. You can see the stomach contracting back and forth, trying to grind up those noodles.
Striking thing about
Was y'all able to hear the audio? Because on my end, one of the buttons was muted. I don't know if you was able to hear it, Talib.
Yeah, I heard it. Oh, did I hear it? I heard it. The BPA is what I was telling you. Remember? Oh my God, we got like 14 episodes or something, man. Like, I was like, yeah, I told you. Remember, they used to spray the can. That's what they used to spray inside of your cans of food, your canned good. And BPA, what people don't realize is it's a synthetic form of estrogen.
Crazy. Okay, yeah, the people said they heard it. I thought I was doing all that for nothing. I'm like, wow. Okay, that's good. So yeah, them Roman noodles, them things is real spooky.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They're telling you about that because they have to tell. This is why the cans of canned goods, they used to use the BPA and they had to get rid of it because there was a lawsuit behind that stuff because they discovered that this was seriously affecting the estrogen levels in men.
Crazy.
Explains a lot though, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Explains a lot. If you wanted to demasculate your population of men and didn't want to do it head on, wouldn't that be a good, clever way to do it?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just put it in their food and water. Everything. And we'll make it with all the stuff around you. Just like they say, keep going, we're going 100% carbon neutral. We're gonna get rid of oil. Like, I don't think anybody understands the game on that too, with the whole thing. Cause like you gotta realize like all the stuff on your products, all that, the boxes, all of it, the plastic, your toothbrush, all made from crude oil, sir. It's why you know that petroleum is a major ingredient in pharmaceutical drugs. Why would they stop using oil? Do you not understand all the companies that would go out of business? So much of processed food is not good, even meats. No, none of it is good. I mean, here's the thing. If you're looking at it from a physical level, you can say, yes, none of these things are good. We should be getting fresh fruits and vegetables. Our animals should be fresh grazing so they can actually get the nutrients that they need. So when we eat their flesh and meat, we get the nutrients we need. That was the purpose of it, right? But we're not getting the nutrients from any of the food, right? So my thing, because that's on the physical level, my thing became was go, there's the water test done. I don't want to misrepresent this scientist's name, but if you go look it up, that water is programmable, you'll see what comes up. Okay. And there was a scientist that proved that, okay, water has something called microclusterization. Okay, this microclusterization is why they call water the memory molecule. Whatever water comes in contact with vibrationally, it can store that vibration, that energy. So what he did was he wanted to prove this. He conducted a test. He took several glasses of distilled water and he put rice in the waters. And one of the glasses every day, he told it, he held it with loving energy and put on loving, peaceful music and said, "I love you," to the water. He had another water, and it's the same waters, okay, with rice, jasmine rice in it. He gets that one and he starts, "You're an idiot. You're stupid. I hate you," and berating the glass of water. Well, in a couple of weeks' time, they found that the one that was berated, all the rice in the bottom had fermented and the water became heavily acidic. But the one he said he loved, well, it dawned these beautiful crystal-like molecules, and the rice smelled like sweet jasmine rice, the water. What does that mean? That means you have the ability to affect and alter the things that they're giving you, even if it is bad. When you get into this silver method and you start telling yourself that your body is a machine, is love, that your body highly reproduces on cellular level, that it doesn't accept and doesn't accept or will allow any cancers, diseases, and illnesses of any kind, and you start programming yourself with that, your body will respond to that. That's what your body will respond to. You're not going to escape. See, first it was eat fresh food. Now everybody's a vegan, right? And I laugh because I love my mother for this. My mother had me, she was a vegan in the early 90s. We were her test subjects, me and my brothers. We were tested. Okay, I went to school smelling like carrots and beets in New York. That's not cool. Okay, but I give thanks that she did. Okay, I was on a vegan diet for most of my teenage years. And this is before any of that was ever considered to be, even a thing. There wasn't even, I don't think there was a term called vegan at the time. There was only vegetarians, right? And at that time, you could find more fresher things, but at the time, that's when they was talking about scientists are genetically splicing fruit with fish to keep the fruit flies from eating the fish. I mean, from eating the fruits and vegetables. You can look at that's what they said, right? But this was a part of the Monsanto genetically altering the seeds. Okay, so now it's like you talking about being healthy and eating all this healthy food, but inside your mental is still bad. Your mental is negative. Well, you're not going to really get too many effects from that food. One is it's not the food you used to eat. The nutrients and all that is gone out of the food. Monsanto owns all the food you eat. All your food has been genetically engineered, and they're slowly genetically engineering you, because first of all, every day you're a brand new person. Every day you shed off more than 2 trillion cells and grow 2 trillion more. You're never the same person. Always remember that. You're never the same person. So even though you're eating all this healthy, what they're telling you is healthy, the levels of vitamins and things and nutrients you would get from the food, it's all lower and reduced. You can't take the food right now and just go pick out seeds from the food and start growing your own from what you have, because all the stuff is seedless. Because they have to assure that the farmers won't ever just directly start really selling you food beyond what they want you to have. Okay, so my thing has been, when you work on your inner self in your mind, and you start to love yourself and you start to care about yourself, the things you were doing that came from lack, they get replaced. So if it was a really bad diet that kept you in that state of where you were, once you raise your mental level, then guess what? You're not going to want that. You're not going to desire that. You won't have a taste for it. And because you're resonating at a higher level, the type of people around would change, the type of places you would patron to eat food is going to change. It's going to be indicative to where you are internally. But if you keep trying to go out and change yourself from the outside to look for some, like people want to eat fruits and vegetables, drink a bunch of water and think that's going to make them think better. No, that supports healthy thinking, but it doesn't make you think better. That's its own muscle. That's its own activity, because that is where you are. Right? So I always tell people, you want to detox, the first thing you need to detox is your mind. You need to, because you'll realize some of the things you're doing, you're not really doing for you. You don't really know what you like, because you've never given yourself the chance to explore yourself. So use this as an opportunity to learn who you are. Fall in love with yourself. And you will find that the world will fall in love with you.
Real quick, King, somebody asks, where is it at? What does Talib eat?
It depends. It always depends. I have a wide range of dieting habits. See, I'm prepared for, The Walking Dead, so I can live off nuclear waste. That's fine. I'm also prepared to walk in the kingdom. So, I also have a very good, healthy diet. And guess what? I cook a lot. I cook my own food, right? When I'm into heavier training, I like to eat meat because I do Kung Fu and I like the power. And that's where I get a lot of that energy from with that. And I enjoy it, right? When I'm not, I don't even, generally, I only eat once a day because food is meant for energy and entertainment. That's it. That's the only thing food is meant for. So if it's not coming across as some form of art with the meal, then, or it's not something I necessarily need for energy and strength, I don't even think about food. If you're asking me about food, I'm not even a big fan of food. Ever since I was little, I only ate because I had to. Other than that, I don't care for food like that. It's not one of those things I enjoy like other people do. They love to go sit in a restaurant and just eat food. I'm like, no, I'd rather train, or I'd rather go do something else with my creative mind and music and film and the other zillion things I love to do. But food isn't one of them. I only eat once a day. You only need to eat once a day. I still weigh, I'm not underweight or anything. Not no little skinny guy. Very much in good shape. But you don't need a lot of food. And especially when you're on that mental activity, you're going to find, you go look up into the yogis, you go look at a lot of the monks in the monasteries and in the Himalayas, and you look at the variations of monks in the Eastern world, you'll find that none of them eat a lot of food. They only eat one time a day. Why? They feel when your stomach is empty, you actually have a stronger mind. We got taught backwards here. Oh, empty. If you got an empty stomach, you make bad decisions. No, actually, an empty stomach could bring clarity. Anyone who fasted in their life would know this. If you fast, there comes a point around the I want to say going from the third into the fourth day, where there's a mental revelation that occurs inside of you. Right? Because the stomach is also a brain. Science has come out and told us that too.
Facts.
Right? Fasting is when you don't eat food. You can drink water, but you don't eat food. Right? And this is a way of cleaning your system out. You drink plenty of water though. Some like the master cleanser, but that's not a fast actually. It's a cleansing and it only lasts for 3 days. And then you're supposed to have soup and then rice. Right? But I find the truth is, it's all what you say it is. You can do anything you truly believe and assume. If somebody tell me, I can't fly, well, we know you don't truly believe or assume that. None of us do. Nobody actually believes and assumes they can fly, so you've never seen a flying man. This is a collective too. We have a collective. We all agree we're on the ground, so we experience the ground. But there's individual reality. And you can always disconnect from the collective and then embark on your own reality. Because you're doing that every day anyway. Why not wake up to the fact that you actually have control over what you're doing? Just merely by accepting one fact alone, that I am not my identity. I am awareness. Ask yourself, am I he or she I claim to be, or am I that which is sitting behind the eyes observing?
Let me interject real quick, good brother. We just hit that 2 hour mark. Pound that like button. Let's get the likes up. We're gonna conclude the show because we try not to go over that 2 hour mark. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of heavy information. These are heavy gems. So, you know, appreciate everybody tapping in. Um, and I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover, right, good brother?
Yeah. Yes, I think we did.
Okay. Appreciate the Rec Mall for tapping in. Still like 400 people in the building. If you miss the early part of the show, you can watch the rebroadcast. Make sure you leave comments and likes. Run the likes up, run the comments up so the recommendations can go out to other people and the algorithm can pick up this video and send it out to as many people as possible. That's very important. So this video is about the rebroadcast. I need y'all to leave those comments in the regular section. Appreciate that. Also, pre-order episode 2 for Spooky Hours, a TV series. All right. The link is in the chat room. About to put it in there. Go to spookyhourstv.tv. Like I said, it could be dropping tonight or any day this week. So just, get the pre-order so when it drop, it automatically hits your email and alerts you that it's live. All right. For everybody that's asking me about Spooky Hours, yeah, episode 2, then episode 3 is dropping right behind that. And by then we should have the app. We working on the app right now. So give us a few weeks. So for the most part, appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning into the show. Talib, thank you again. Phenomenal job. As
Thank you, brother.
always, you know, thank you. Salute to the Rec Mob. Salute to SJ. You welcome, my brother. And we might surprise you to go. We might go live with heavy gems in the next couple of days. So I'm gonna converse with this brother behind the scenes, and we're gonna give the people that information. All right. Salute to Bernard Beasy on a super sticker. Appreciate you, King. And he said he was gonna cop that Spooky Hours episode 2. So everybody go to Spooky Hours TV for merch and also for the episodes of the TV show. All right. Episode 1 and 2 is out. Close One and episode 2 Gemini. All right. Pre-order that. It might be dropping tonight or any day this week. Like I said, Esco is behind the scenes doing some special features for these episodes. All right. So y'all gonna get some special features. All right. I appreciate y'all. So y'all have a great night. Thank you again. Talib, my brother. I'ma holla at you tomorrow.
Okay.
And we go from there.
Yeah, peace to the Rec Mob. And I'd like to just say one thing to everybody. First of all, thank you, SJ, for always being a great support to what we're trying to do. And you're amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you. And to everybody out there, just until we get together again, just play with that ideal that you are awareness, and change your language. Just see what happens. And don't imagine yourself getting into any confusion with people you normally do. Everybody you have to deal with that you have a problem with, imagine them a different way, and then come back and let us know how that happened for you.
Right. Shouts to SJ. Appreciate you. You're doing a phenomenal job as always. Thank you. All right. Peace, Rec Mob. All right, run those comments up, run the likes up, and run the numbers up on the episode 1 and 2. All right, peace. Thank you. Let me get the intro. I mean the outro. And be gone. Run those comments up, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Run those numbers up on the episode 1 and 2. Let's get it. M.Reck TV.